Hi, I'm Mike, and I wrote half the foreign album Double Vision.
And I'm TJ, and I had the idea for Star Wars years before that fraud, George Lucas.
And this is We Haven't Seen It, a podcast about two slubs trying to watch every movie ever made to be better than everybody else in the world.
We'll be the hit at all party. Well, anyway, Mike, how are you?
I'm doing great, TJ. How are you doing?
I can't complain, but I still do.
That's good.
You're looking great in your Milwaukee Bucks championship gear.
Yes, this will be my uniform every time we record. This is the podcaster's gear. I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt, Milwaukee Bucks championship hat, a championship shirt with some pizza sauce on it, and shorts. And
you do look like a podcast.
I do look like a podcast, so thank you, TJ.
I think it's fair to say we have faces for podcasts.
I think we do, yes. Which means we're both ugly and we cannot be seen in public, so thank you.
But we will be the hit at parties.
Yes, we will. Okay. So, this is a soft reboot of the podcast because we decided we actually just want to do movies that we actually haven't seen. Not one of us has seen and the other one hasn't, Right. Plus, it was less fun doing not interesting movies. So
yeah,
we decided
a little more structure.
A lot more structure, a little more fun. Watch movies we actually never seen before and talk about them more.
Play some
games, some segments actually, and actually had to have some structure to this podcast. So we're redoing the podcast. Hopefully this is the only time we're doing it, and not in another 6 months. We're like, we got to do it again. But hopefully it keeps on track. So new movies, more fun, hopefully a little more drunkenness, and hopefully our friendship will end at the end of this podcast, and we never talk to each other again.
I don't think it would be a success if that's how it didn't end.
Really? That's how all my friends have been, and I consider those successful. That's what my therapist told me.
Nice news. Each movie now will also be awarded the Red Buttons MVP.
Yes, we are sticking with that because Red Buttons deserves to be honored in every single category ever.
He sure does.
Yes, definitely. Okay, well, why not just start with the new show already? Let's start with the movies. Okay, so the new format is basically almost the same. We're going to pick 3 movies we haven't seen before, each of us, and we're going to watch them. Basically, though, here's the new thing. Each one of us have a theme to them, instead of just picking random movies and just be like, whatever. So, for my theme, to start with my movies, I've decided to choose Dustin Hoffman movies. Why Dustin Hoffman? I find him interesting. I listened to a podcast about Rain Man a few days ago. It brought a lot of good points of how he was literally one of the biggest stars in America in the 70s and 80s. Like, one of the biggest stars. Like, he controlled Hollywood with Warren Beatty. They just made A-plus caliber films. Like, I went over Warren Beatty's and Dustin Hoffman films. Not a lot of bad. I mean, in the early 2000s, in the 2000s, 1990s, yeah, Dustin Hoffman could win. But Warren Beatty, he kind of had hit after hit after hit. I mean, he had a great selection because he controlled.
Bonnie and Clyde was
Bonnie and Clyde, yeah. But in the 70s, it was crazy how good Dustin Hoffman was. I mean, he had so many great movies. Sure. It's insane. But we're going to talk about him because...
I hear he's a blast to work with.
Yes, he is. No, he's not. He is considered the great a-hole to work with. He's a very perfectionist person, and he wants to have things his way.
Sometimes the best actors are. Christian Bale, what's his face? Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
He can be assholes.
And I guess he's kind of right. I mean, his movies are successful, but maybe because he was an asshole so much, nobody wanted to work with him. So that's why in the later career, maybe that's why he didn't get that much good work.
Well, hey, at least he had the Fockers.
That's true. That's true. Little Fockers. I think I saw the Meet the Fockers in theater with my whole family.
He wasn't in the first one, right? They were only.
No, he was not in Meet the Parents. He was in Meet the Fockers and then Little Fockers. Wait, I think he was in Little Fockers. I don't know. Yes, he was. He was in Little Fockers. That's true. Okay, so let's go down to the movies I've chosen. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. Okay. So the first movie I've chosen is Ishtar from 1987, directed by and written by Elaine May, The Heartbreak Kid, Mickey and Nicky, also famous collaborator, and I believe wife to Mike Nichols, the famous improviser.
I'd buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. She's known for that.
Someone on a podcast said so I
yes, exactly. Thank you. As you know, ladies and gentlemen, always believe us, our podcasters, because we are the truth sayers.
Don't believe everything you hear in podcasts, except for ours.
Except for ours. Okay, so
toxic.
Okay, yeah. So the plot of the movie is 2 terrible lounge singers get booked to play a gig in a Moroccan hotel, but somehow become pawns in an international power play between the CIA, the Maw of Ishtar, I don't know if I said that right, and the rebels the rebels trying to overthrow his regime. The cast stars Warren Beatty, one of Dustin Hoffman's best friends in Hollywood. Also, I did teamed up in multiple occasions, maybe. I'm not sure. Dick Tracy, yes, they've worked together multiple times. He was in Reds, Bulworth, Dustin Hoffman, of course, Graduate, Hook, Isabella Adjani, I don't know if I said that right, Adjani,
It's
just
now.
just Ishtar.
I've always wanted to see this movie because I know the story behind it.
Yeah, and also Charles Gordon, who was in Midnight Run and Beethoven's Second.
I love Midnight Run.
I love Beethoven's Second. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Wait, Grodin's in this?
Yeah, Gordon's in this.
No
he
way.
plays a agent, I believe.
Oh, cool.
I don't know.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, it is really Isabel Adjani is only known for Ishtar. This is the only movie.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
What a resume.
That is bad. Okay, so the reason for choosing this movie, it is not his first flop, Dustin Hoffman. I believe he had some in the 70s that weren't that great, but this is like his biggest. This is generally considered one of the worst movies ever made.
Definitely one of the biggest
Yeah,
flops.
definitely one of the biggest flops. Definitely. And what it basically ruined the relationship between Warren Beatty and director Ellen May. Probably Dustin Hoffman too. I didn't look that much into it, but they had a really difficult time. And there's a whole backstory to this that we'll get into when we do the movie. But it's really interesting. But it's also fascinating because recently it has a resurgence. People are now calling it like a messed up masterpiece, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically like a bunch of high famous directors and actors say this is actually a good movie. Like Quentin Tarantino, Lena Dunham, Joe Swanberg, Edgar White, and also Martin Scorsese says this is a good film.
Wow.
Yeah, so
high praise.
That's definitely high praise. So I actually want to check this out to see if it's that bad.
I'm excited to see
Yeah. So I found out about this movie a while ago, but I love the Red Letter Media Christmas episode where they try to talk about the Star Wars Christmas special, but don't bring it up for a full hour. So they keep on mentioning other stuff, and a lot of it is Ishtar, they just play the whole trailer of Ishtar. Yeah. Okay, so that's why I chose Ishtar. The next movie up is Midnight Cowboy, made in the year 1969 by director Joe Schlesinger. Did I spell that right? Said that right. Schlesinger, known for The Marathon Man and Pacific Heights, which is a movie about real estate horror featuring Michael Keaton.
Interesting.
It's a real estate thriller. It was really weird.
Michael Keaton's done some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Is that in the 80s?
That was in 1990, Pacific Heights.
Okay.
If I think it's the right movie, which I think it is. It's
Batman.
really weird. Writer Waldo Salt. The Philadelphia Story, one of my favorite movies. I think one of my favorite. I watched it. It was really good. And Mr. Winkle Goes to War. So the plot of the movie is a naive hustler travels from Texas to New York City to seek personal fortune, finding a new friend in the process. The cast is Dustin Hoffman, of course, Jon Voight, Deliverance, and Anaconda. The Oscar-winning forms of that. The reason I chose this movie is this was only his second movie. But it's like after The Graduate, and then he did this movie, and then it led him on to the path of like major Hollywood stardom in the 70s. I mean, this movie took his career off. Even though The Graduate did that before, but even took it even farther because he was in this movie. And also, this is the first X-rated movie to win, actually the only X-rated movie to win Best Picture.
I'd always heard it was an X-rated movie, but I'm not sure exactly why. So
Yeah, Mike gets a lot of swearing. Well, it's about a guy who becomes a prostitute, so Mike gets a lot of sex.
I did know about that.
Yeah.
But an X rating, that carries like a...
You know the only way to get like an X rating is to have sex in movies. Like
That's what I thought.
you can kill like a whole bunch of people with blood, cut off the heads of kids, but if you have one person showing having sex,
well, wasn't Scarface originally X and they had to cut a bunch?
I don't know.
I don't know how the X rating works.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Nobody ever releases X-rated movies.
Yeah, anymore.
Or NC-17.
No, because it wouldn't be commercial anymore, so
Right.
you can't do that.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why I chose Midnight Cowboy. And then my last movie is Kramer vs. Kramer, one of the saddest movies ever made. The year was 1979, so this was the height of his powers. Like, not right before the fall. Well, not really a fall, but yeah, right before, but like soon.
The height of Hoffmania.
The height of Hoffmania, I guess. Yeah, 1979. This was his first Oscar he won for this movie. So yeah, it was the height of that. And then 1982, he did one movie. Then he did Death of the Salesman in 85, which was a TV movie, which I saw in English class in high school. And then 88 was Rain Man, and so it was like the 80s was just like one kind of gap year. Like, you know, it was just like you would make one movie, wait a while, make another movie, then make another movie. And then the 90s, it kind of went downhill. It didn't really wasn't in that much procedure stuff. So, yeah. So this is like one of those last movies. So, okay. So the year was 1979. Directed, written by Robert Penton. He wrote Superman, the first one, and Twilight from 1998.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never even heard of that.
Exactly. One of my categories I want to do is movies with the same title.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, every day, because I'll be like, Twilight. And I'll be like, what? Like, we're watching Twilight? And I'll be like, no, 1998 Twilight.
Definitely caught me off guard.
Yeah. Okay, so the plot of the movie is Ted Kramer's wife leaves him, allowing for a lost bond to be rediscovered between Ted and his son, Billy. But a heated custody battle ensues over the divorced couple's son, deepening the wounds left by the separation. Cast, of course, Dustin Hoffman, Meryl Streep, Sophie's Choice, and the Ant Bully. A classic. It's not classic at all. I think I saw that in the theaters. It's about a kid who becomes an ant.
Fascinating. Was that the Paul Rudd movie? The Marvel movie?
No, that was Ant-Man.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's what you think of. Jane Alexander, The Great White Hope, and Terminator Salvation.
Wow.
Yeah, Justin Henry, who played the little brother in 16 Candles. And it was in a movie called The Junior Defenders, which is about a man who kidnaps former child actors who was on this TV show called The Junior Defenders, like back in the 70s, and then tries to get them back in the game.
Sounds riveting.
Yes. So, yeah, those are my movies. I can't wait to watch them. I can't wait to hear the stories of how Dustin Hoffman yelled at so many people to get this right.
Right. I can't wait to see who wins in Kramer versus Kramer. And frankly, it sounds like a delightful, fun movie.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think they have like a boxing match to determine who gets the kid?
Probably, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Isn't that how real divorce works?
Definitely. Well, it's Kramer versus Kramer, so it sounds like a boxing match. So. Okay, TJ, what are your movies?
Well, there is egg on my face here because I certainly did not do as much preparation for this, so I apologize. I'm going to be a man of few words here. But my theme was cult comedies, ranging in what is to be perceived quality, I suppose. And these range from the 80s, I believe, maybe one's from the 90s.
Yeah.
But anyway, my first film is called Clifford. A movie that only recently came to my attention. It stars Martin Short, Charles Grodin, again rest in peace, and Mary Steenburgen. And for the plot synopsis, I wrote mischievous youth.
That's a good. That should be it. That's what you should do every time. Just write down like a single word or two and be like, "That's the plot of the movie."
I like it.
That's great. Let's keep that in. All right, TJ, what's the next movie?
My second one is called Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Yay!
And it stars Michael Caine and Steve Martin.
So was that a British accent?
Michael Caine. Some men just want to watch the world burn. You can cut this out too.
No, I'm keeping this in. I'm keeping this in.
All right. Well, for my synopsis on this, I wrote, "Con men, hilarity ensues." I've always heard about this movie. I'm a big Steve Martin fan. I don't know why I never watched it.
Yeah, I read his book, and it's amazing. Like, how he grew up, how he became a comedian. It actually inspired me to try to become a stand-up.
Dude's a gem.
And hopefully will.
And it's funny, growing up, I think the first thing I can consciously remember seeing him in was, what was the movie with the Cheaper by the Dozen?
That movie made me cry. That's like one of the only movies that made me cry.
No, it wasn't that. It was the one with Queen Latifah. What
was Bringing Down the House.
Bringing Down the House.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I saw that one.
And that was the first. I couldn't tell you a thing about it these days.
Yeah.
But I saw that was the first introduction, and I remember his white hair and thinking, this guy's gotta be old as dirt. And then I, would see Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, one of my favorite movies of all time, and then I would see The Jerk, another great movie, and I think I saw him in Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid at some point on cable, and I'm like, this guy's never aged. Then I saw the Best of Steve Martin SNL DVD. Guy's gray when he's 20.
Yeah, he has like some kind of disease that it makes his hair like that.
Well, I'm really excited to see this though because I do like Steve Martin a lot.
Yeah.
And I do think Michael Caine is obviously it's hard not to like Michael Caine, and I don't think I've ever seen any movies of his from the 80s.
No, he's in like a lot of good ones. He's not in Bullet, that's Steve McQueen, but he's in the Thomas Crown Affair, the first one.
Sure.
He's in The Italian Job, the first one.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the earliest movie I can remember seeing him in would be Austin Powers.
Yeah.
I guess.
He's in Alfie, the first Alfie.
And my third movie is Porky's, starring a bunch of nobodies and Kim Cattrall.
Yes.
And my synopsis for this: horny kids. Hilarity ensues.
Okay, so I think everybody just knows one scene from that. That's when the teacher grabs the guy's dick through a
but
shower hole.
But I need to see the context of it.
Yeah.
I don't. And my biggest fear is that there's no real context.
How come we didn't see the guy's dicks? I want to see more dicks in Hollywood. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of girls having all the fun, being naked. I want to see everybody's penis.
Guys, get loose.
Yes.
Yeah, let it rip.
Make Game of Thrones be the standard.
Absolutely. There's not enough representation of the phallus.
Yeah. I never saw Game of Thrones. How much dick is in Game of Thrones, TJ? You've seen it all.
Not too much, not too little. I don't know.
It's unfair.
Yeah, just to sidetrack real quick, because this is the first episode. For anyone who has seen Game of Thrones, I want you to think: is there any other show that was like this, where it was such a phenomenon? Everybody talked about it. Everybody watched it.
I didn't watch it.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was such a worldwide thing. The
Yeah.
internet loved it, and then it ended the way it did, and nobody talks about it anymore.
Well, I thought the ending was amazing. That was the best ending of all time. Those would be up there with the Hot Show ending. That was amazing.
I can't say I'm familiar.
No. You don't know the Newhart ending? Oh, it's great. It's so Bob Newhart had 2 TV shows. Okay, in the 70s it was the Bob Newhart show, in the 80s the Newhart. It was called Newhart. So in Newhart, he owns an inn in like Vermont, this weird town with a bunch of weird characters he interacts with. The very last episode, like he gets hit in the head and like passes out. All of a sudden, they cut to a bed, and then he wakes up, and then all of a sudden he's back in the old show he was in, his first show. And I was like, I had this terrible dream, and his wife's like, go to bed, and that's like the ending of Newhart. So basically, the whole show of Newhart was a dream from
incredible.
Bob Newhart in the Bob Newhart show.
That's actually incredible.
Yeah, that's genius level right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saint Elsewhere. Who?
Yeah.
That's much better.
That's much better.
Yeah, really.
Basically, we just spoiled 2 great series that people may want to watch, but I said
All
still
right.
watch them. Whatever.
Hey.
It was out for 40 years. It's too. You could have watched it, but you didn't.
Yeah, fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Sky is yellow.
Yeah.
It's now red.
Yeah, but we still love you, and please listen to our podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the movies we're gonna watch. We're gonna have some new things. Not sketches, but bits.
If they work, we'll keep them. If they don't,
Yeah.
we'll ditch them. No,
Bits,
no
new
harm, no
games.
foul.
Yeah, it's gonna be more fun. Okay, and hopefully we're more prepared for this one.
We'll have fun.
And actually read the full McAvoy book of how to do a podcast.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens.
Good.
Okay, so I guess the last thing to do, TJ, is to choose a movie. So let's see what we got. And the winner goes to It's Todd!
Oh my.
Yes!
That's exciting.
I am so glad we saw him in this movie. It's so good.
Oh boy, that's just rip that Band-Aid right off.
Yeah.
That'll be exciting. Excellent. So 2 weeks from now.
So 2 weeks from now, that's also another new thing. We're not going to try to do it every week because, I don't know, work schedule, and also we just want time off to hang out with our friends. And well, TJ has a girlfriend, I don't, because women don't love me. And and yeah, so that's going to happen. So this is Mike. I actually am the lead singer of Fauna.
And I'm TJ, and George Lucas can go fuck himself.
Do you really want to make an enemy of George Lucas that fast?
The sky is purple.
Okay, and this is We Haven't Seen It. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Love ya.